Josh, it's Seamus. Look. That's Sally too.
Got a hat too.
Oh, look at him.
Yeah. Hey.
You look like
Look at that hat.
Chicago.
I don't have any other hats.
What does that say?
ACC Today.
Oh, that's cool.
Send me a work hat, bro. Look at that.
You don't even work for them.
Yeah, I do. That's the show I'm on.
Why am I muted? Hello? What happened? Open the
Oh, when the show starts.
Start. You gotta see Mama. Hello? Ben. Can you talk though, Ben? Am I supposed to be quiet here?
Sitting in the house.
Sally, yeah. All right, you gotta go see Mama quick.
You guys are Sally.
All right, Mama's calling you. Go see her. Gotta handle my business. Oh, you okay? I can't hear you, dude. Look at Josh, dude. He's got that big boy swag on today. Boy.
No, should I could just unmute?
I'm here. Hello?
Was I supposed to mute myself, Josh? Well, I forgot that he muted us. Can you hear me?
The audio is picking up on the stream. Row.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Timeout Talks. This is a special which is brought to you by Chase and Throws Custom T-shirts and accessories, and is also sponsored by the Ice Shaker. The only bottle you will ever need. Go buy your custom Time Out Talks apparel via www.chaseandthrows.com and purchase your ice shakers at www.iceshaker.com. As you guys may see, this is the first time ever Time Out Talks is streaming live on Facebook, Twitch, YouTube, and Twitter. So we just want to welcome in all of our new viewers. We got a little audio stuff to begin the show. They're always throwing me curveballs on the show. But we are back. We've got Ben here, James, myself. Some of that audio might not have been picked up as well. But we've got a huge show for you guys today. We're going to kick things off with the UFC 276 recap. Then we're going to get into some of the NBA free agency / some of the Celtics moves. Celtics made some big trade, and they had a nice little acquisition. Plus, I don't know what's going on with the Bruins. They've got a couple things going on in the media since we've been gone. Bergeron said he's been open to re-sign. You've got a new head coach potentially. They haven't announced it. DeBrusk revoked his trade clause. A lot to get to on the Bruins. And later on, to wrap up the show, we're going to give you guys our preview predictions for the Red Sox versus the Yankees. Big series here in Boston. So without further ado, let's kick things off talking UFC. Ben, James, hopefully I got your audio up here ready to go. We had a lot going on in the UFC. It was a controversial card this weekend. We saw Cowboy Donald Cerrone retire. O'Malley, first ranked fight ever, goes to a no contest. And Adesanya retains his title via decision. There was some other stuff that happened as well on the card. You guys are a lot more versed than me, but overall, what's our thoughts on the UFC card?
Hey, I'll take it first, Jimmy. This was a great one of the all-timers right there. Just maybe for me because I made a little money on that. Maybe that's why I'm a little happy about it. But I mean, hey, Izzy and Volk stood their ground. I mean, those are one of my two favorite fighters to watch. Those New Zealanders. Those guys are crazy out there. And Volk just won the trilogy against Holloway, so he proved his worth right there. Maybe now looking to go another weight class. Challenge somebody else. Maybe get a double belt in that regard. But this is a great one. I want to single out some of these other guys. I mean, they helped me out too, but watch out for Jalen Turner. That's another one. He's in the lightweight division. He's going to be making a name. Ian Gary, the welterweight. And then
Ian Gary.
Gary. It's Gary.
It's Gary. He's Irish.
Gary.
He's Irish.
Yeah, it's Gary. Dude, that's how you pronounce it. Yeah, I know he's Irish, so you just proved my point. It's not Gary. It's Gary. That's how you got to say it. Trust me, dude. You don't want to say it like he says it. You don't want it to be like that. And Dricus Duplessis, another guy. Those guys, nice three young guys to watch out for over there. But, I mean, Izzy just proved his worth. I mean, Izzy was going to lose. I didn't think he was going to lose at all. I thought Volk was going to get a little tougher test from Max, in that one, in that sense. But those two were good, and finally with that Cowboy one, finally he's gone now. I mean, Cowboy's a legend, but it was just time for him to go. Every time he got touched, he was going down. His head wasn't there. His chin's not what it once was. He's got a lot of fighting in his career done. So I mean, good time to go out right there. Hell of a career, and good time. Good little send off they gave him UFC. So I got all that, but. Izzy, man. Izzy's I'm interested to see who Izzy's going to be fighting next. I don't know who's going to be able to beat him.
It's going to be the man who beat him in the kickboxing, Alex Pereira.
Right, here we go. I set you up for that. Yeah, you're welcome. I set him up for that.
Essentially announced that. I am going to bet a lot of money that Izzy loses. He's so underwhelming. I know he's so smart and does what he has to do to win fights, but man, that was a really boring show. If you're going to come out to the Undertaker's music, you need to put someone's lights out real early. He's a great champ, but I think his reign ends with Alex Pereira next. We'll see what happens. Volkanovski, obviously they're teammates. I think he's gonna. I wouldn't rule out Charles Oliveira next if he moves up. The only thing that is not in Alex's favor is the timeline. The timeline does not add up. That higher division's looking for Charles Oliveira is probably going to fight Islam for the title. So My guess is Volkanovski will fight the winner of Ortega. And who I forget who he's fighting. He's fighting Yuri Rodriguez. So my guess is he'll fight that. If he wins that, he'll go up and fight either Oliveira or Islam, whoever wins there. But yeah, I mean, Ian Gary,
Sorry.
definitely. He's the real Irishman that's good, not Paddy the Baddy who sucks. Sorry for me saying that, but he is so overhyped. He avoids fighting big names. He's just not good. But yeah, it was a good card. A little underwhelming. But yeah, it was a good card.
I mean, underwhelming.
I think one of the biggest things to take away from it is the O'Malley. I mean, first ranked fight. I just watching that fight live with Jared, although you had Money in the Bank on in the back. You know, I can't lie. My pride lies deep in WWE. I'm not going to skip the Money in the Bank to watch UFC. I watched the highlights after, and we were watching some of that fight live, and it's just, I understand that, you know, obviously it was a no contest and things happened, but it's just how much more controversial can it get? You know, people were already questioning the fact that he hasn't fought a ranked fighter. And the first fight ends in a no contest. What did you guys think about that?
I mean, I'll just say this: you can't blame him for who he's fighting for the most part. They're trying to be really careful with him. I think they think he's going to be a superstar, so they're matching him up very smart. I thought that was a dangerous fight for him, to be honest. I think he's going to fight Marlon Vera next, kind of the rematch of when he lost, when he got kicked in the leg and instead of hit a nerve or whatever. I would like to see that rematch next. I think Vera's fighting Dominic Cruz next, though, so we'll see what happens there. But he's another one. I'm not sure how good he is, but we'll see. I was going to touch on something. I will say this: Alex Volkanovski beat Max Holloway for the third time is one of the greatest feats in UFC history. That's super impressive. Max Holloway is bad news. He is he's one of the best ever. So for him to do that 3 times, man, he's the real deal.
Just want to echo that one. Like you said, I was a little worried about Volk in that one. I was just, I mean, with other teams not saying in that regard, I mean, like football, like basketball, it's tough to beat an opponent 3 times. So I thought Max, he did a really good job regrouping in that second fight, really gave him a tough run for his money in that one. So I thought he'd just build on that momentum, but Volk did the opposite. Volk, game planned. He just game planned in the fight too. With just everything he did worked, and he just controlled that whole fight. Got a couple good shots on him right there. Got him to, got him that cut under the eye, and just mess with Holloway the whole fight. So I love what I saw from Volk, and just showed off his. He just solidified it. He's one of the best at that division, and like I said, like we've discussed, maybe a possible Charles Oliveira, but you got that one's got to be decided, and. Just want to touch on that one. Marlon Vera, Dominic Cruz, August 13th. That's their own card right there. So can't wait for that fight. O'Malley's tough for me too. One of my favorite fighters. I know I've been saying that about all these guys, but O'Malley's one of my favorite guys. I've been seeing him come up, and obviously, you got that question of who he's fought and everything. But like Jimmy said, I mean, that's not entirely up to him, and that's actually really not up to him. He's just going to fight whoever they put out there, and he wins. He does it in exciting fashion. This one was building up to that. I really wanted to see this one finished. This is a real first opponent. Like both you guys said, could have given him a challenge. I think he would have won this one ultimately. I don't know how you guys feel on the eye poke. I don't like it, to be honest. I saw, Jared Cannoniero. He fought through one, obviously, maybe not to the same degree. I know, Pedro Nunes dealt with one before. I know O'Malley already got one in on him, but I mean, I'd like to see him finish that out. It's a big fight right there. But I understand it. You can't see. But just sad to see. And there's still these long questions for O'Malley. So I'd like to see that Vera fight, I should say, because I really like Marlon Vera. That guy, I think he's going to be cruising that one too.
Yeah, to be fair, it's not really up to Nunes. If he can continue to fight, it's on a doctor. So I did read his eye was completely swollen shut the next day. He had scratch retina. So, unfortunately, it's too bad. But what are you going to do?
Finish the fight.
Lots going on within the UFC. We even had Chandler calling out, it was Poirier calling out Chandler. They were barking at each other. So that's something to maybe develop in the future. We're off and running. We're kicking it off.
Hey, Josh, can
Not yet.
Can I add one more thing?
Go ahead.
He wants to touch that one. Here we go.
We saw. No. Chandler and Poirier would be great. Henry Cejudo, man, he's making the name, making his round again. Obviously, double champ. He's a stud, but he's around calling out everybody. Him and Volk would be really interesting. But yeah, he's trying to get back. I know he's back into testing. So hopefully they can figure out a fight for him. He said he wanted a warm-up fight versus Sean O'Malley, so that'd be hilarious. He called him Precious in the background, or like the back of the UFC, whatever. He got in trouble for that, but yeah, that would be wild. And Nate Diaz slapped a reporter, so it was kind of a wild weekend.
Very, very controversial weekend. I completely forgot about that. I don't know how I didn't throw that one in there. We've got James on for a special reason as well. As I mentioned earlier in the show, this is an hour-and-a-half special. Just want to give, as I mentioned, we are now on Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook all at once. So Denise coming in here from Facebook saying hi. We got Pat. He's flexing the Twitch. We've got Aaron saying the way Ben says it sounds more Irish. That's funny, talking about Gary and Jared coming in. I didn't really think Sugar looked too good. So
Agree.
I think you would have won overall, though. I still think you would have got it.
But now that we've got you on here, James, we started off with the UFC. There has been, and me and Jerry were literally just calling out Rob yesterday for this. I don't even know if he's in the chat yet. He hasn't made an appearance. Who knows? It's a hour-by-hour situation with him. There was an original bet underlying this Ice Shaker bet. Obviously, you lost. You got it. You paid enough. You got to pay up. You had to customize the Ice Shaker to his liking. But he has to come on the show or publicly announce all 4 of his favorite teams, and he has to say one of each team. One for NFL, one for NBA, one for MLB, and one for the NHL. So he owes you that, but without further ado, James, the floor is yours.
So is he's not here? He's not in the chat?
He's not in the chat right now. I can try and get him going, though. We can try and throw some ads for him.
Unfortunately, I lost the bet for the Patriots record last year. I believe I said they win 11 games. I believe they went 10-7. Really unfortunate. So I did order. It's in here. I want him to reveal it live. I don't want to do that, but it's like what he asked for. It's the Ice Shaker. It's a real thing. So now I just want him to hold up his end of the bargain. So. Because we know Rob likes every single team. He calls everyone out for wearing jerseys. But we all know deep down he has no idea what teams he likes.
They kept it in the package? I'm sorry, Jess, but why just keep it in the package? You didn't want to unveil it for yourself?
No, I want him to do it.
So are you guys going to be together in the room or?
No, I'm going to give it to Josh to do it next week.
Oh, all right.
Yeah.
So you're just showing the package. You wanted to come on here
and
show the package.
I wanted him to show that I have it. I have it. It's here.
Fair.
Well,
and I used my Timeout Talks code and it worked. So that was great.
Sweet. That's
all
actually pretty good.
All caps,
a little plug right there.
I appreciate that. I don't know. He's not here. We got Denise coming in the chat here. Where's Rob? ?
Great question.
Got to get that going again. When he's the one calling people out, he's loud and proud. When other people are calling him out, he's very silent. So
where's Waldo? Where is he?
Oh, geez, look at these chirps. And hey, I would love for another bet to be made. I know you tried to kind of poke at him for it last time, and he just completely turned it down.
Yeah, now that he actually won, let's see if we can make another bet for this year. I will bet him that
the Patriots.
How about this? The Patriots win more games than his favorite football team. I think it's the Browns, but I'm not even sure.
I think that's fair.
Where are you going to go with the Deshaun Watson? Yeah,
I was going to say if Deshaun Watson plays, if it's fair.
No, he's not going to play. So.
No, he shouldn't, but if for some weird reason he does.
Yeah, No, I get the bet, all right. I mean, hey, throw both bets at him.
But, so there's no word from Rob?
There's no word. We're waiting.
Yeah, we're waiting. He strolls in here when he wants to stroll in here. The last word that we got was Aaron saying, I'm wearing my Where's Rob shirt. There actually was a Where's Rob shirt made by Make It Mac. And oh boy, before James goes, let's push. It's not Rob, but it is another troll. Jared coming in here from Facebook. The Pats are on their way to a 7-win season.
Is Jared wearing his Mac Jones jersey underneath the Allen one or no? Is he or no?
Hey, there's some more bets to be made there, but as well, we got Denise coming in. He's not sure yet himself which team he's rooting for, so Rob's just taking a lot of slander right now. And
7
Denise,
wins, though.
as well, saying, coming here from Facebook, send in your orders for the Where's Rob shirts. So, I don't know. He's disappointing. He's disappointing us yet again.
Well, fill me in. If not, maybe Jared and I can make a bet. Try to figure something out. But I just want to say before I go, I want to recognize Josh's big boy swag he's got going on right now with this new fresh haircut. So I appreciate that. That's that is crazy.
He's looking good with that haircut. Look at that, man.
He's a new man. Look at him.
Here we go, new man. Before the show, he was hyping it up, as you guys could probably hear, because he didn't want to. James was so excited he didn't want to stay quiet in the pre-show. So, but James, thank you for joining us.
This is Niagara Falls swag right now. So I just want to let everyone know.
It really doesn't make any sense. That doesn't.
He's having fun.
Hey, I appreciate it. I just want to remind everyone, Julio Rodriguez is the best baseball player on the planet right now. So, God bless.
He has been killing. He has been killing it. James, thank you for joining us. Nice little surprise appearance here.
We'll see you. Keep me updated on Where's Rob.
Oh, 100%. Where's Waldo? Where's Rob? Get your T-shirts. James, again, thank you for joining us.
I'll see you guys.
Yeah. I guess thanks. Thanks. All right, just get out of here.
He left. And as the show started, he was super excited to give us his intakes. It's been a while. It's been a week since we haven't even had the show. And it's been even longer since we've had him on the show. So I want to keep up with the chat here. We've got Jeff coming in here. Get Charlie G in here. He's in the same boat as Jared. And Jeff also saying, I was going to say the same, Josh. The haircut looks great. Thank you, man. I really appreciate that. Nice little switch up, Summer. Got to go short. Haven't been short in a while. But I think if he's referring to Jared here, the same boat as Jared, I think he's referring to a 7-win season.
Yeah, I believe Charlie is not too optimistic about the season. Charlie is also a Pats fan, so a little different than Jared saying it. But, I mean, I really can't totally disagree. Watch out for my Jets, as everybody says. Everyone's going to keep laughing at me for that. And one of these days, I'm going to get it right. But hopefully it's next season. But, I mean, that 7-win, I was going to ask Jimmy about that. I was going to ask him to go a little further into it. But he's probably got to go open that ice shaker or whatever it is. I'm glad that code worked out too. I was hoping he was going to open it. I hope he had it unveiled. Now we really don't. Now it kind of just looked like a box. I got to double check that. So Rob's going to show his face around there soon enough so we can get that unveiled. But I mean, I don't know. Maybe if people want to keep throwing those comments in there, right? 7 wins isn't.
Hey,
I don't know, Josh. I might take the under.
Whoa! Wow! I'm gonna say hush for now.
Hot take.
I think we on the show we've sparked up a live little poll here. Wow! I'm stunned. I think we're gonna have to do a nice little segment next week, Ben. We're gonna catch up a little bit with the NFL. You got Nick DeVosta here. 7 wins would be a good season for the Pats. The Pats fans not here to defend themselves, so I like this. Let's keep this moving forward. We've got a lot to talk about tonight. As I mentioned, we started off here with the UFC. We're going to get into the Celtics, NBA free agency. We're going to list off some of the major signings, a couple trades. We've got KD, Kyrie standing pat right now. We don't know. A bunch of hypothetical situations to come out of that. And the Bruins, it's just a big blob of confusion. I cannot wait to get to talk to them. I've been dying to hear Ben's take on that because this is going to be all organic and authentic. Me and Ben have not discussed the Bruins. Jared just pouring in this Patriots hate. 2 wins in the division. Oh, my goodness.
All right. Let's not get too ahead of ourselves,
Robert,
Josh.
here he comes now. Oh, my God. It's just... You had to assume, Ben. You had to assume he was going to.
I think there's a little. I think that might be a little too coincidental, Josh. I think he might have been maybe Maybe he was waiting for Jimmy to leave. I don't know. Maybe since he's here, he can comment on that. But that seems a little too coincidental. It seems a little too well timed out from Rob on that one. Just saying.
He's always doing
I'll throw
this.
that out
And Denise is here, Rob, and we were also just talking about the Patriots. Some people thinking they might not win 7 games this year. Jared said they'd be lucky to get there. He said 2 wins within their own division. We're gonna have a nice big. I want to have a big segment on this next week. How many games the Patriots win? As you guys know, with people who have been following our show for a couple years now, me, Ben, and James do this. We had our annual mock draft. Well, we also have our annual schedule prediction or our standings predictions for our favorite teams, our respective teams of the Cowboys, Patriots, and Steelers. So we'll get you those. Rob coming in here. I was doing adult things. I'm on my part-time season. It's just yada 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 with him. But hey,
Always an excuse, Josh.
we'll leave it. Hey, Jared, we're gonna leave it open to the viewers. I don't want to take time away from that. I don't want to shove it into a show today. I want to have a nice big segment next week. I'm gonna make a nice big post on all of our social media platforms, asking everybody, the viewers, nationally, whoever it catches the eye of, what the Patriots are gonna do next week. I promise you, we will get to that. That's I don't know. I think we're being a little disrespectful, but we'll get there. As I mentioned, we started off the show with UFC. James came on, kind of called out Rob. But, however, back to Boston. We're keeping it in Boston. This past weekend, the Celtics made a couple moves. They didn't sit still like we thought they were going to. They were able to acquire Malcolm Brogdon from the Pacers in exchange for the Celtics. Daniel Tice, Aaron Nesmith, Nick Stauskas, Malik Fitz, Juwan Morgan, and a 2023 first-round pick all went to the Indiana Pacers. So we've had a couple big things happen here, as well as the Celtics going out and adding the veteran big man of Danilo Gallinari in free agency. It was reported that they were able to sign him to a 2-year, $13 million deal with a player option in his second year. Ben, a lot of stuff going on for the Celtics as well. What do you feel about the Celtics acquisitions over this past week?
I loved it, Josh. I mean, this is I got obviously double check the Brogdon injury history, but I mean, where was this for the playoffs? I mean, I would have loved this movement. I would have sent these guys. Finally, we got Naismith out of here. Thank God. We got him out. A little sad to see Tice go, but listen, he did his part over here. Coming big trade headline acquisition, I should say, from this past season. So we got a little something out of him too. I just want to give him a shout out. He's always coming back for us, giving us whatever he needs, giving us 100%. He had a couple threes in the playoffs, but he's just being a part of this Packers team player. Everybody's gonna miss him. Smart, give him a little message. So just team guy over there. So I just want to give a shout out to Tice. But listen, I mean, I was pumped to see those guys. I don't know what the Pacers are doing, but I mean, obviously Brogdon. I don't know if Brogdon was going to sign long term. I thought he, obviously he came from Milwaukee on the big deal from them. So I don't know. He just wasn't in the Pacers' plans. I know they have Halliburton over there. So maybe that played a part in it. But to get them for those guys that we sent over there, that was a huge steal. Just being a little coy with it. When I say where was that during the trade deadline and at the end of the season, for the playoffs. I mean, I think he's just perfect for us. I think, I'm always saying it, but I think he's the last piece for this team and us to get over that hump for beating the teams like the Warriors. He's that point guard that can calm everybody down and do what Derek White did in those first couple games and then not go away like Derek White did for the remainder of the series. He can score. He's a great defender. Lead this offense. So I love that move. And getting Dano over there, man. We just need that shooter off the bench. Again, another one in the Warriors series where we got exposed. The bench just didn't produce. We missed the shooting. And he's just a fantastic bench player and provides that shooting. So I'm pumped up with these moves. I love it. Obviously joking around. Where was it at the end of the season? We hit the, obviously a trade deadline. Trades and acquisitions, we hit that. That was A+. And off season, I give it an A+ so far to Brad Stevens. Again, man, Brad's killing it. He's setting this team up. And we're better than we were in the finals, I think, Josh. So I'm pumped. And Nick Stauskas, man, yeah, I can't believe we were able to put him in there too. Man, no offense to those guys, but man, I'm not going to miss him too much.
Got a couple of comments in here. We've got one from Nick from Facebook. Welcome to Boston, Malcolm Brogdon. We've got Rob saying you're ducking me. Jared coming out of Facebook. A+ off season, and Jeff from Facebook. I'm still down for another off season of KD to the Celtics
here we go.
rumors. So I was waiting for those. Me and Ben had a little bit of banter before the show about that. I'll get to that in a second, but right now, Ben, I couldn't agree with you anymore. I think, you look at the Boston Celtics team, Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, Rob Williams, Marcus Smart, that's essentially pretty much your core. They were able to even expand on that, bringing in Malcolm Brogdon. Now I know he's got some question marks with injuries, but overall, the upside for him is massive. This is a guy whose defense, I think he fits in perfectly. Defensively, offensively, he can bring in depth. I know they've kind of flirted around with the idea of him coming off the bench. I don't hate that, Ben. I know we still have Derek White off the bench. We shipped away Nace. Oh, yeah, Pritchard. So you still got some pretty good guard depth there, but I like the Brogdon move, Ben, because it's another player who can facilitate but also score. And I think if you look at that Celtics bench last year, Grant Williams, Peyton Pritchard, those guys, Derek White as well, they kind of needed another spark plug. Now, I don't know what they're going to do with Malcolm Brogdon. I personally would love to see him as sixth man of the year, maybe run a starting lineup of Marcus Smart, Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, Rob Williams, and Al Horford. I know that they're going to intermingle and kind of mix and match as the season goes on, but I love the Brogdon acquisition there, and I'm completely forgetting as well. Gallinari, I've been a little bit hesitant on because you look at last year, he had his average, season average, career average, I'm pretty sure was pretty low, 11 points per game. He's gotten older. He's definitely slower on defense. But on the other side here, he's 6'10". He can get his own basket here. This is quotes coming from Jared. So, and I know what he's done. He's killed the Celtics a couple times. So I think adding that veteran piece, he definitely will be coming off the bench. Should help us moving forward. And Jared coming in here as well, saying Trevion Williams practice film looked really promising as well. So there's a lot to kind of be excited. I haven't seen that, but there's a lot to be kind of excited here for the Celtics. I think we've taken a step in the right direction. I know at the beginning of free agency, everybody was kind of worried, like, what are we going to do? Who are we going to trade? As Charlie had mentioned, or I believe it was Jeff, the trade for KD, that was kind of floated out there. I'll let you get to that in a second, Ben, but I'm going to squash that. I don't think that they do that. I think the Malcolm Brogdon trade I know it's KD, and I know that any team would love to have him, but I think going out and getting Malcolm Brogdon, adding bench depth in Danilo Gallinari kind of assures that the Celtics are probably not going to make any more trades or acquisitions, any blockbuster moves, especially KD, knowing everything. I don't think we want another Kyrie situation. And when I say by that is I don't think KD's going to do what Kyrie did, but we don't know how long he would be here for, and yada, yada, yada. You'd kind of be gutting up a lot of your depth, and I just would want to stay away from that. There's a lot to be said, though, Ben. The chat's kind of flowing right now. But overall, I love the Brogdon deal. I think it adds a little bit of veteran leadership in this team, somebody who's hungry, wants to win. A little bit of skepticism there because he's missed some games. But I think overall, he should fit in like a glove. And that's the one player, or even to what you were saying, Ben, the one key acquisition that the Celtics really needed was just another piece who can kind of do it all. So I love it. As Tyler said, and I'm going to say it again, no more moves. The Celtics are perfect. I 100% agree.
Yeah, hey, I mean, listen, they're pretty close to it. Chi coming in here saying, I'll agree with that. It's close to perfection. Still need another rotational big. But the moves are exciting. No doubt about that. So, I'd like to see them get another big in there. Just help with some height in there. And, Dallas, not the most physically imposing guy out there. He's getting up there in age. So I'd like to just get a little more rim protector in there. Just to, give those guys a little rest in there. Give us some height. But Josh said perfectly. I mean, Brogdon, everybody. I've been a big Brogdon fan ever since those Milwaukee days too. There, that many. I know Drew Holiday's kind of stepped in over there, but Brogdon was over there too with the sort of the big three with Middleton and Giannis. So he was kind of just starting over there for those guys. He's a hell of a player, I think. Josh is telling maybe some six man of the year. I'd like to see him in the starting lineup. I wouldn't mind that too, but it just shows you the versatility because he can come off the bench too, and he's not going to be upset about it. So either way, he's going to be good. He's a heck of a player. So shout out that fresh cut. We got to keep shout out Josh's fresh cut. I never seen him with that hair. I'm always used to seeing the woof and everything, the poof, I should say, just like me. But he's kind of making me reconsider. Maybe I should. I gotta get a cut too now. I got to get my sort of hair in line over here, getting a little long over here. I gotta hit that end of the summer cut. But other than that, just like the summer cut, the Celtics are doing well. We're looking good. So I'm all happy right now, Josh. But that could change very easily with the Celtics.
And as literally as we've seen in this season, we were battling to stay in 500, like literally battling to stay at 500. It was questions of moving the big two. When I say big two, I mean Jaylen Brown or Jason Tatum. Can these two fit together? Yada, yada, yada. I was very critical of Ime Udoka, and Tyler kind of kept me on my toes about it this past weekend after we were kind of recapping, talking about the Celtics' overall season. But you said it perfectly, Ben. We've seen how things work. On paper, we look good, and we were able to kind of make a good long push this year. I think after seeing some of the acquisitions that they made, they knew that they needed a little bit more depth on the bench and in general to their starting lineup as well. And you see that with the Brogdon, you see that with the Gallinari. Both these guys, Brogdon's fairly young, but Gallinari aging, that's fine. But these guys have experience and they can score. And as much as we love Grant Williams and as much as we love Peyton Pritchard and Derek White, I think we needed a pure scorer, and at least Gallinari kind of is that pure scorer. Like, he's not known defensively. He's not going to light the stat sheet up in assists and steals, but he's going to do his thing offensively. Hopefully longevity can kind of work out well for him and Brogdon. I know Gallinari's getting older as well. I think I'm being a little bit skeptical on both of them just because I know, as you mentioned, Ben, we get so excited and we're like, we're going to be back. This is it. We've made all these right choices and decisions, and then something crazy ends up happening. But I think to kind of bring it back to one of the biggest trades and free agency things, the big storyline that hasn't even yet to break, I wouldn't want to make a trade for KD. That would probably have to inquire. They're definitely calling about Brown, probably Smart, maybe Williams, maybe a couple first-round draft picks. I don't know if all that would be bunched together, but one of those players is going to go. Someone in your core is going to go, and you look at what they did last year. They made a great playoff push. I think we were a little young, and we did what we had to do, Ben. We got some pieces. As Jared mentioned, A-plus offseason. We're going to get to a little bit more of the signings in the offseason in the NBA free agency. A couple big low-key ones that I want to get to as well, that I think some teams made some good moves. But again, going to get back to the chat here. But Ben, I agree with you. I think you said it perfectly. I like what we're doing now for this very moment before we hit October. I like what the Celtics have done. I was a little worried that they were going to stand pat and not make a move, but they were aggressive. They assessed what they needed to assess. They didn't make too big of a splash, but they went out and got some of the needs that they needed. So I love it. Jared coming in here, you might have gotten to this one, but I think he said would like to see Bryant or Howard on the C's to fill out that bench depth at the center position. I would like that. They flew that one out there a little bit, and Bryant, he came from the Wizards, right, one. Ben? I know you were watching.
Yeah, that's my guy right
him,
there.
So that's one of Ben's guys one. There. So, and I believe it was Jeff or Charlie. It was Charlie who said still need another rotational big, but the moves are exciting. So Charlie would probably have to agree there with Jared, but overall, Jeff's comment here, it's great too because all of our two best can't read this one. It's great too because our two best players need to do this offseason is to learn how to dribble. I completely agree with that. A lot of turnovers, and again, I think having Brogdon there will kind of help. This is another little key phrase here from Jared, but he's kind of mentioned that Jaylen Brown, Tatum, they kind of had to carry a lot of the load offensively in terms of facilitating. They probably won't have to do as much if Brogdon can stay healthy. This guy is a stud. When healthy, I think Jared's telling me he averaged 23 points in one of the seasons. So I'm actually going to look some of his stats right now. But I like what the Celtics have done, and I think Ben's probably going to like that comment out of Jared too. Bring in Bryant, bring in another center here. I don't mind that as well. Help out Rob a little bit, and I think that could kind of complement Jared's comment as well of keeping Rob Williams off the court because we'd be able to have another rotation at the centerpiece. So.
Thomas Bryant, Josh, you hit it right there. That's my guy. Got to see him over here. I think he'd be perfect. He's athletic, big body over here. You can move. He can get up and down the floor with everybody. He can run that transition offense that we like to do. Pick and roll game is there as well. Be perfect for Brogdon. Perfect for everyone else. So I'm pretty pumped up. I'd be pretty pumped up right there, Josh. I knew I didn't even see that comment from Jared too when I said A+ off season for the Celtics. We were in sync on that one. If they somehow manage to get Thomas Bryant, I might even give him another plus. Man, that'd just be huge. And like you said, sometimes I even get ahead of myself. I call myself a green teamer, but I jump into that green teamer mode, and you just think all these moves are going to work out so well, and all of it on paper looks perfect, but we all know what happened with Kyrie. So when everything happens, when it all looks perfect on the screen or on paper, I should say, you got to get on the court and you got to just produce. So you got to do that. But I mean, if we got Bryant, I would be ecstatic, Josh. That'd be next level stuff.
Same. I think that's a move that could definitely help, and I couldn't agree. I think it goes to Jared's point, and it goes to, a lot of people's points. You've seen Rob Williams. I mean, he's so young. The wear and tear. He's just coming off the surgery. They rushed him back. Al Horford's getting older. He had a very, very solid offseason. This isn't a knock what I'm going to say, but he's getting older. You've gotta expect a drop off at some point. And I think, to your point, Thomas Bryant would be great depth at the big position. Be able to come in off the bench. How about this one? Nick DeVos out of Facebook saying, how about Jordan Clarkson? The Jazz are rebuilding. I wouldn't hate that. I think they'd probably have to ask for a lot. I do believe they have another exception. I don't know this quite specifics on the Brogdon trade. I know that we got rid of Gordon Hayward in the trade exception, and I think we have a trade exception from Fournier, so we might have another mid-level trade exception, but Rob coming in here. We appreciate that you like the live chat. I love how he's dropping Ben's Sirius XM email, but again, I'll get
I always forget to change that.
I'll get to Ben's thoughts in a second, but I think I'm pretty sure the Celtics do have another mid-level trade, so it could be for someone like Jordan Clarkson. It's just the question is, at what cost? But Jordan Clarkson had a phenomenal season offensively. And you talk about spark plugs, he'd be great spark plug off the bench. So
another perfect guy, Josh, right there. And I mean, sort of a huge move with the Jazz too. I mean, nobody was really expecting that. Windhurst kind of predicted that. It's kind of Nostradamus saying the Jazz are going to be blowing it up, and everybody was kind of looking at him funny, looking at him strange. And I know people. I mean, there was the possibilities. Donovan Mitchell even floated around to Boston. You never know with that blow up, but like those KD ones, it's over with that Brogdon deal. I think we made our move. So sorry for all those people. I just want to touch on that KD too. I kind of forgot about my 2 cents on that one. Listen, I would love it, but we really needed those package guys that we sent over for Brogdon. So I believe we made our move on that front, which I'm very happy about. Josh said we would have had to give up Brown. I'm not giving up Brown for Durant. No way. And now everyone's still a little pissed at him. Listen, I was leading that charge. I was the most pissed at him. I don't know if that's grammatically correct, but it's whatever. I was the most pissed at him. Just for that finals performance. I mean, he just gave us so much, and just showed his youth right there. I hate to see him driving to that rim again. So those double teams are just losing the ball, but I'm not keeping Jaylen Brown up for anything. I'm not doing that. Keeping him and Tatum. We'll just build around him like we've been doing. We got Rob. We got Smart. Now we got Brogdon. We're getting there. So I'm good with all those other pieces. But kind of lost track where I was going right there, Josh. Just
I-
because I got amped up.
I agree with you, and I kind of was hoping that you sided on the KD side. I know Jared says it all the time, and a lot of people have said it. I've read on Twitter a little bit, hearing about it on 98.5 The Caller, ESPN, all those major shows. You know, Boston's a big market. He's kind of been inked to the Celtics before, and it's KD. That's their response. Well, it's Kevin Durant. He's one of the best scorers in the league, and it is what it is. I think you stay with the core that you have. I think you would have more longevity out of Brown. You hope he comes back and signs within the next 2 years, I believe he has left on his contract. Someone might have to correct me on that, but I think you get more out of Brown and Tatum together. I think you get more championships. Jared saying it guarantees a championship. We don't know that. I actually was reading an article earlier today, and it said, will Kevin Durant ever be satisfied? I mean, I know Kevin Durant's got this contract, and he's kind of linked up to, we'd have him for a while if we did make the trade. I think it's like a 4-year, 3-year contract, but I think the article said it perfectly. Will he ever be satisfied? Will Kyrie ever be satisfied? We don't know. The chat is buzzing right now, Ben. We've got a lot of chat coming in here. We're going to switch things up because that's what we do on this show. We got the hour and a half special here where we're about rounding the midway point of the show. We've got plenty of comments to get to, so let's get to Zach here. He's saying the Pelicans are going to win it this year. Rob coming in. Can we ban him from that comment? We've got Jeff saying, can you explain this whole TPE thing to me? I don't understand how it works at all, how we would still get something for Fournier. I think that we have another mid
TPE.
It's very confusing.
It's sticky, Josh. Yeah, my bad. It gets sticky.
Very sticky. I think they have another mid-level move. I could be wrong. I think there's still a little bit of salary cap that would have to be moved around, and I think Smart is probably one of those key players in terms of making a move for Clarkson. I don't know. I don't think they would want to do that, but I know salary cap, like in terms of bringing Brogdon here, they did a little bit of wiggling around with getting rid of Tice and being able to kind of match things up as well as, the value of the trade and financial part of the trade. But as the NFL, the NBA, there's ways around that. I'm not too sure how the TPE works, but I do know that they did have 2 mid-level trades. So I know a lot of people were kind of talking about DeJounte Murray. He went somewhere else, however. But let's get to some of these comments. We can get to those points in a minute. We got Rob coming in here. Celtics fans need to wake up and learn no big star is coming to the Celtics. I don't know why he would say that. Fresh off a championship year, we literally have 2 stars here. Zach coming in. You right, Rob. They are coming to the Musty City, referencing New Orleans. And Jared just going ham here. He's saying, yo, Rob, this is an hour and a half, bro. I hear your voice all week. Now I got to hear it for another hour and a half after a long weekend. Rob, he's too funny, always coming in here. But Jared saying 2010 when they lost to Kobe. I think Jared is all in on KD coming to Boston. I don't know how I feel about that. I'm sorry. I just don't know how I feel.
Yeah.
Let's switch. We've got a lot of KD to talk about because we're gonna get to the NBA free agency. As you guys may know, there were some big trades that happened.
That's what I was thinking of, Josh. My bad too. That's what I got derailed on. We were talking about that Minnesota trade, Rudy Gobert.
Yep. Yeah.
That's what I was about to talk about. My bad. I just want to throw that in there. Make sure I got that memory back right there.
No, you're good. We've got. Hey, right up here on the screen, we got the Knicks signing Jalen Brunson to a 4-year, $104 million deal. We had a couple other things. We had the Bulls re-signing Zach LaVine to a 5-year deal worth $215.2 million. That's a big little hefty paycheck there for Zach LaVine. And, sorry, Celtics fans, Bradley Beal re-signed to the Wizards on a 5-year, $251 million deal. These teams are throwing so much money around, Ben. You've got some other signings here of Anthony Simmons to Jared's Trailblazers. The 23-year-old signed a 4-year extension worth $100 million. Let me just name off a couple other ones here. Nurkic as well. Blazers spending a lot of money to kind of bring that core back. They gave Yusuf Nurkic a 4-year extension worth $70 million. One of the guys I would have loved to see the Celtics pick up, but it's okay. We got Malcolm Brogdon. They got the Memphis Grizzlies agreed to a 2-year deal worth $30 million for Tyus Jones, young point guard there. The Trailblazers as well, keeping it going. They went out and got Gary Payton, so to a 3-year, $28 million deal. There was a bunch of trades happening, as Ben mentioned. You've seen Rudy Gobert getting traded to the Timberwolves, DeJounte Murray to the Hawks in a hole. Some other trades as well that probably went under the radar. But Ben, this is what it all comes down to. It's how do we feel overall? Who won free agency in your opinion, or so far has won free agency in your opinion? And what are some signings that you liked?
Tough call, Josh. Listen, I might throw a little homer in there too. I mean, the Celtics might be at the top right now, to be honest. Mavs coming in there too. A little second one over there. I like that. Christian Wood. It was a little signing. I believe it was a trade over there. Get him over there. I love that little pick and roll. He's going to be willing to play the 4 over there. Still give him, I forget who's their center at the moment right now, but give that pick and pop of Luka over there. So that would be a nice little combination. But I mean, to be honest, those Trailblazers moves, Josh, I like what they were doing over there. Another trade for them. They got Jeremiah Grant from the Pistons. That was a little, I believe, draft day sort of trade. They didn't even have to give up one of their picks. I believe they gave them Milwaukee's 2025 first round pick. So they were able to get that one over there. Listen, I'm not saying they're going to go do anything crazy over there. But I mean, they're making some signings. They're going to stay competitive, keeping Dame at ease, trying to show them, hey, we're not going to be tanking. We're going to still try to get you everything you need over here for the franchise. Wizards, good move getting over there. Bealstein, but I mean, is he really going to stay? I don't know about that. And Trailblazers too. I believe they got I'm blanking on their first round pick, but I believe they got a nice little draft pick over there too. So I like what the Trailblazers did, but it's Josh. I might have to go with the homer pick and say the Celtics. I think had the best free agency. Just looking at everything, everybody made some nice additions, like I was mentioning. But to be honest, I think we're just the team that made the biggest difference. We reached the finals, and we still got better from the offseason. And we're still looking to add some pieces. Still got some cap space too. Like you mentioned, we still got some of those trades still available to be made that we can do. So I'm going to have to give it to the Celtics. As of right now, it's the homer pick. Let's see. We still got some time over there. KD's decision is going to be big. This Kyrie one, possibly to the Lake Show. I'm hearing those two. Listen, that's going to be my prediction, KD and Kyrie to the Lakers. Once that happens, everyone's going to say, Ben, you were right on that one. Just want to put that out here on this platform. So I can be the first one or one of the people after. But going to have to go with the homer pick, Josh, and say the Celtics winning free agency so far.
I like it. One of the other teams that I think comes to mind here is the Bucks. They went out and got Joe Ingles. I love that signing there for them. They brought back Bobby Portis. They're going to get a healthy Chris Middleton back. They're former champions, the defending champions coming into this season. They have the best player in the world. I think their signing of Joe Ingles is very under the radar. I know he's getting up there, 34, 35 years old, but he's a dog. He's going to fit into that team perfectly. When you're playing with guys like Giannis, he makes everybody better. So I love what they did there. But I agree with you, Ben. I think the Celtics, again, and not even just the homer thing, to your point, I think we did what we had to do. We assessed. Brad Stevens looked at his little list here, said, okay, the bench isn't cutting it, and even within the starters here, because you can make a push that Malcolm Brogdon's going to start. He very well could be, and I think he's going to be at some point within this season, whether he starts it off or they switch. They're always making adjustments. But overall, he looked at the Celtics, said this team's still a little young. They've got a lot of great core. We don't really want to make a big trade for KD. We don't want to bring back Kyrie. We don't want to go after John Wall. I know that was talked about. We don't want to bring in Ayton. We don't need to do any of that because we have Rob Williams. We have a Jaylen Brown. We have a Jason Tatum. We have a Marcus Smart, by the way, who led us to the promised land playing point guard. I think he got a lot of slack for no reason. He did a very good job. I think he averaged some of the best statistical numbers of his career. So right now, Ben, I think the Celtics are on a great point. But again, I think the Bucks got better. I think I'm not worried about the Nets. I'm not really worried about the Knicks. I'm not worried about any of those teams. Jalen Brunson, as much as he played a very phenomenal season alongside Luka Doncic there, and he's a great player as well. No knock to him, but it's one of those Julius Randle. It's one of those crazy sign out that they go and do. So
Feel bad for them, Josh. Feel bad for them.
I feel bad for them too. Big market, just can't get it done. But
I want to give a shout out to the Hawks too, Josh. I don't know if you're going to go there.
Yep.
Sorry if you were, but
no.
DeJounte Murray. I'm just looking at some of these other free agency moves too. The T-Wolves giving up a haul over there. Just Patrick Beverly, Malik Beasley, multiple first-round picks, I believe 5. But you mentioned too, the Hawks gave up a little haul to get DeJounte Murray over there. They gave up a decent amount of picks. I'll get the specifics right there. I should have had it right there, but gave up a couple of young players. DeJounte Murray knew he wasn't going to be signed over there from the Spurs. The Spurs knew that, I should say. They knew he wasn't going to be re-signing, so they knew they had to get something. And they did. So, listen, kudos to both those teams. The Spurs kind of trying to tank for that big Frenchman in the next draft. Everybody's looking at this next 7'2" guy, Victor something. I don't want to butcher his last name, but everybody's kind of tanking there. So I like that trade for both sides. I think both teams did well on that. Spurs set up for the future. Hawks, I like that team. Finally pairing up to Trae Young with somebody that can play defense. DeJounte Murray, and he can score. I really like that player. That was the original guy I wanted. Instead of Brogdon, I felt like if we got DeJounte Murray, that would really put us apart, and that would really set us up for just to be really even better than we were this year. But didn't happen. Like that Hawks team over there now. Figured out what they do with John Collins, if they're going to keep him for the long haul or not. But they got a still team over there. So they were able to keep Bogdanovich too, and Herter, I believe. So I like the Hawks too, a little winner from the East.
I agree, Ben. I think the DeJounte Murray trade was great for them. I didn't want the Celtics to go and do anything crazy because I feel big for Marcus Smart. I'm a big fan of him. Him and Brown just get too much slander this offseason for no reason. I think, Marcus Smart did almost ruin that Miami Heat Game 7. He was really trying to throw it. But I think that there's a lot of internal basketball that needs to happen for the Celtics. I think Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum get back to the fundamentals here. And I mean fundamentals of just tuning out the outside noise, forgetting about the refs. I know it's a lot easier said than done because you're playing the game, you're heated. These guys are making the calls and they're playing. We're not playing, so it's going to affect them more than it affects us. But again, just getting back to that fundamentals of basketball, dribbling, passing, simple things that really hurt the Celtics. You look at the turnover rate. Every game we lost, it was unbelievable. We tripled the other team in turnovers, even doubled for most of the games that we've lost. But I digress. I think that there was a lot of good signings as well. I think Charlie O'Donnell coming in here with a great question. Do you guys think the Suns keep Ayton? Just trying to kind of keep up with the chat here because it's been going pretty quick.
Yeah, I was about to say. I love it.
They do, Ben. I think they do. I don't know. Not that he's not valuable and not that I don't think he's a great player, but I know the Nets were kind of in talk for maybe. They were trying to flow that out. I know there's rumors all over the place. Probably every fan base had a rumor out there for Ayton and every player. But I think he stays, Ben. Short answer here. They're going to try and run it back. Whatever they do, they are potential suitors for Kevin Durant. I think, again, you're going to ask for a lot. And overall, I know me and Jared were talking about this, and I agree with him as well. I think Kevin Durant stays put. I think they can maybe make some noise. They just need to – it all comes down to those two getting their heads straight. So I think the Ayton going to the Nets was one of the potential moves. I don't see that happening anymore. This is a team who made a deep playoff push. I think they needed to add a little bit more. They definitely got stunned this past offseason, not even getting out of the second round. But, again, I think Ayton stays, and, yeah, I don't really see him going anywhere. As Jared gets to, too, the Jazz making a crazy trade. They traded what was it? They got 4 first-round picks in a 2022 first-round pick in Walker Kessler this year for Rudy Gobert. I think Rudy Gobert probably, that's a tough one too. Like, Ayton's a young emerging center too, so I mean they could probably get a boat for him, the Suns. But did the Suns really want to do that? I don't know, Ben. I don't think that they do, and I think Ayton stands pat.
Now Josh is gone. He's gone. I'm telling you, he's out of here. It would be great for them to sign that. You know, it's been a little tough for him to be sort of judged with his career over there. He's kind of getting scrutinized. I believe he was. I want to look up the draft class he was in now, but I believe the next 2 players after him, it might have been the Luka draft. Have just exceeded their expectations. So when they're looking at Ayton, it's been kind of he's kind of dogged for it in his career, and him and Monty Williams have been having some problems. You kind of saw that spill over in the last playoff series. Sort of for them to get into it a little, sort of against the Mavs. I don't know if that was just from them getting crushed, but I mean, I guess there have been previous issues with them. I haven't seen eye to eye during the season, during his time there. So I believe Ayton's out. Listen, I like him as a player. That KD one there, because of that now the Suns are one of the teams that I think can give a little package to the Nets that might be a little intriguing. Get a little Bridges, Ayton, somebody else for I forget his name, Cam Johnson at UNC from the Suns too. To the Nets for KD. People be shocked by this too, but another team that could offer is Golden State. Golden State can offer that package for KD. Just want to throw that one in there. They got a bunch of young players that they could throw at him, but I think Ayton's gone. He's just I'm going to look it up too after who's got drafted after him. It's just been kind of he just kind of got screwed over there because of that, and him and Monty just aren't seeing eye to eye. I think he just needs a fresh start over there, and I think that's why possibly that next one makes a lot of sense. But I don't got a team in mind right now, but that's going to be my hot take, Josh. He's just not going to be in Phoenix. That's last time you saw him in a Phoenix uniform.
I like it. Go big or go home. There was Rudy Gobert traded, maybe another center to fall. Nelson Canero coming in here. Tatum is still improving and growing, and I think that's all a part of the process, as I mentioned here, the offseason. I hope they can kind of, again, improve, grow, him and Brown, not just Tatum. And the Celtics. I mean, overall, they're still a very young team, and that kind of goes back to my point of why they went out. They made some of those trades, so I 100% agree with Nelson. Jared as well, making some good points here. Royce O'Neal and Warren are great additions for the Nets. TJ Warren, kind of back in the limelight here a little bit, been missing since the bubble, but when you're playing with guys like Kevin Durant and Kyrie, you're going to be pretty good, hopefully. So nice little young parts to add there for the Nets. And Jared coming in here. KD, Kyrie, and Simmons are still one of the best trios in the league. It's crazy because we still haven't even seen Ben Simmons play for them. As much as I harp on him, he's a great defensive player and could, on paper, complement them tremendously. I mean, he's a phenomenal passer, phenomenal defender. Just his issues been scoring, no real mid-range, no real three-point. We know in this league, you've got to have a successful three-point. Got to have a successful shooting ability. Got to be able to do that. But then again, he's playing with 2 of the best scorers. I mean, in the NBA, arguably. I mean, Kyrie Irving, probably one of the best finishers maybe of all time. You can make that argument. Same thing for Kevin Durant, one of the best just pure scorers in the NBA ever. So maybe you pair him up with them. Nice, fresh year off. We'll see what happens with them. Another thing that I wanted to point out, and I completely let missing here. I do not want it to go missing before we move on. We're going to get to the Bruins in a couple minutes. We still got a huge series that I really want to highlight here with Ben. We'll get some limelight here for the Celtics. But honestly, Zach coming in here earlier talking about the Pelicans. They re-signed Zion Williamson. They got him locked up. So I like that. I like what the Celtics did there. I mean, what the Pelicans did there. They have a young core as well. They made a little run last year. So I know Zion, he looks like he slimmed down a little bit. I don't know. I think they could be a scary team next year. You got Brendan Ingram, Zion Williamson. I'm
McCollum.
blanking. Yeah, Yeah, McCollum.
See
that's
McCollum.
their big three right there. You've still got a couple great defensive guards in the front court there. Their bench is decent. Again, I'm blanking on some of their names, but they made a pretty. They gave it a little
We
bit
got
of a
some
fight
youngsters.
last year.
Jose Alvarado.
Yeah,
you got
Jose
that guy
Alvarado, who gave
Herb Jones from Bama. They
Yeah.
got decent guys
They
over
got
there.
decent, man. So I think
Zach's going crazy.
Yeah, Zach loves this. I think we got to give them a little bit of credit there. They bring Zion back. Hey, and however many games, I think it was 57 games. That's a decent amount. I know it's not 82, but he averaged 27 points, like 8 rebounds, 7 assists, something crazy. So, hey, if he can stay healthy and he's able to kind of sleek down a little bit, Pelicans can maybe be a little bit of a scare. I don't think they're going to go too far next year, but I don't know. Maybe top 6 team. So, Rob saying $100 says the Pelicans don't make the third round over the finals. Or the finals, I think is what he meant to say. Zach, Pelicans and Celtics in the finals as we wrap up the NBA talk here. And Nelson Canero coming in. Kyrie is poison for any team. I agree with that. But Ben, thoughts on Rob and Zach's banter here?
Yeah, no, I love this banter. Sorry for I appreciate all the other comments too. Everybody's been pretty supportive of. We got these new platforms coming out there, streaming on everywhere now. Shout out to Josh for getting that set up and everything. We're finally getting there, everybody. We're finally getting there, but my chat just hasn't been updating for some reason on Facebook, so I've been a little delayed with that. I don't know why. It's just my Facebook is, Facebook's always giving us problems, as Josh knows. Zuckerberg's always doing something to us. Giving us some issues, but I'll try to get that caught up. But I mean, typical fight with those two. I'm gonna back Zach in that one over there. We gotta show some love to the Pelicans. Rob's just a hater. They pushed the Suns, I believe, to 7. I believe that was right. They pushed them to 7. They gave them a little fight in their home arena, but Suns eventually took that one. But like you said, they got a couple of good scrappy young guards over there. Jose Alvarado is a good one I like. Now I'm blanking on some of them too. They have that. Listen, we like the Pelicans. I'm blanking on a couple of them, but they got a good little squad over there. And like you said, that's a mini big three. They got a little 3 over there with Ingram, Zion, Ingram, CJ McCollum. So for Zach, I'm pretty pumped up. And Rob, maybe you gotta chill out a little, Rob. Rob's already been late today. Rob's already in the doghouse.
I know what he's talking about, Zach. I know exactly what you're talking about with the turnovers. If you know, you know. Lakers. But, well, that's going to wrap up some of our NBA free agency. And again, I just want to echo the sentiment as James, jeez. Actually, thank you, James, for joining earlier. But as Ben has just mentioned, we're on 4 different streaming platforms today. So there's a lot going on. We're on Twitch, YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook. And some more exciting news, we're going to be able to upload these onto Spotify and Apple Music. I might have even forgot to tell Ben that, but now that we're on YouTube, it makes it a lot easier for that. So plenty of resources and tools to be able to watch us. So just want to appreciate everybody for tuning in. And Rob saying, Josh, tell the people you have a Curry shirt. I do. I've had a Curry shirt. I don't understand why I can't wear another player. I had this shirt before they face each other in the finals. I don't get the whole point of that. I'm not going to sit here and dwell on it, Ben. I don't think I have to. I don't know how you feel about that, but Curry's a great player, and I like to wear great players. I'm a Celtics fan.
Greatest shooter of all time, Josh. Listen, that's what we got to do. We got to give him that respect. He just beat us. I was in my feelings, him giving us those sleeping motions and obviously some of the other stuff in there. It was a little chippy series. We went back and forth, but that's what a great series is all about. So I got no issue with you wearing that. No issue. I mean, again, I think we've already hit on this point too. I think Rob's already brought this point up. Rob, out of all people, shouldn't be talking about that. Rob has got so many jerseys of different teams. So Rob, we got to chill out with that argument. Maybe put that one back and come back for another one.
I love it. Here we go. I can't do this with Rob right now. I'm not going to. However, we're moving forward here. We got hour and a half special. We're finally getting to the Bruins. I'll get to that when we get to the Red Sox. But the Bruins, they've got a lot going on. Over the past week, they reportedly signed. Actually, they did. pick up the former Dallas head coach, Dallas Stars head coach, that is, Jim Montgomery last week. They was a while before they made an official announcement, but they made it. It was very under the radar hiring here. It was very under the radar. I see Ben's already shaking his head. We've had a little bit more stuff kind of ruffling the bag here a little bit. That was also followed by Jake DeBrusk, who revoked his no-trade clause over the weekend. So it has just been up and down with this kid. Now Rob can say, Rob was leaning on the crutch of, hey, I put him on my Snapchat story. That's why I was able to convince him to stay. Hey, I mean, it was very close when those rumors came out that DeBrusk wanted to get traded. And then Rob, it was after a win. Rob pulled up to his car. I actually put it on the show, and Jake DeBrusk laughed, but and Rob was going on and on about that's why he doesn't want to get traded. He wants to stay here because of me, but I guess that's not true. So a lot going on, Ben. They hired Jim Montgomery. What are your thoughts, Ben, about what's going on with the Bruins? Just everything.
Who is Jim Montgomery? That was my first kind of thoughts with that. When somebody said that, I said, I don't really know who that is. He kind of just threw that name at me, and then I had that exact response. I never really knew too much about him. I guess then I just did some research. This is his second chance in the NHL. He was fired from the Dallas Stars a couple of years ago. Personal matters. He got himself, checked himself into rehab, got himself on a strain arrow, and he's been with the Blues for these past couple of years, helping that staff over there. He's been seeing good things over there from the Blues, so that's a positive sign. It says main focus is on the power play. I guess we need help on that. I mean, we really, I think we need a little more help on that 5-on-5. I think, with the power play, we're good. We kind of rely too much on the power play at times. I think for the Bruins, so a little confused with that. But I mean, Josh, to be honest, I guess it's a good move. I was just kind of confused on him. I just wasn't one of the household names. I really just didn't know him, but I mean, it's not up to me to make these decisions. I guess somebody, has wanted to give him the second chance. Everybody is saying that, they're ready. They're saying they love him. They're saying he's a great coach and everything. So. To be honest, Josh, I don't know. How, Josh, you go. I don't know.
Same thing. It's the whole thing is just uncertainty and unknown.
Yeah.
He was a very, very promising coach. He had a great run within I don't remember who it was, but he was the assistant. He went from he had that great run with the Dallas Stars and then got caught, allegedly, however it happened. He was asked to step down because there was drinking involved within the locker room. I know there's rumors of that, and he definitely had to step down because of an alcohol problem. They made that very well aware. But again, he was the assistant head coach, I believe, for let me just make sure I'm right, but I'm pretty sure it was. Yeah, so it was the St. Louis Blues that year that they had that great run. Yeah. I was going to say, I wanted to make sure. But so he's got a good track record. He was very touted before that whole incident happened. Very good coach. He's one of those, old school blue collar, kind of similar to Bruce Cassidy here, defensive minded. You're going to work. So I know that there's been a little issues here. They were saying, is he going to mesh well with the Boston Bruins? And, some of the stuff with Cassidy going out was he's a little too harsh. And those were all rumors, but however, be it what it is, I like the Jim Montgomery signing. I think I would have liked Barry Trotz as well. I know he's done a lot of great things for the Islanders, and he's been a well-respected coach within the league. But you look at the Bruins right now, Ben, and uncertainty is the absolute statement that comes to mind first. You don't know what's going to go on with Patrice Bergeron. What's going to happen with Pasta? I think similar to, you're always getting is Tatum going to stay in Boston? I think we have the similarities here with David Pastrnak, one of the best scorers in the league. Is he going to stay? Is he going to produce in the playoffs? Those are massive question marks for me that we will always get back to throughout this whole year. But I see a couple comments here from Sam that I definitely want to get to, but overall, I think it's just a big question mark. Everything. I think Patrice is. I think if you bring him back, you know what he's going to do. Great captain, the absolute definition of a captain, true Bruin. This Jim Montgomery, we know that he's had success before. Everything had transpired. Hopefully he nipped his personal things in the butt. And we definitely don't know what's going to happen with DeBrusque. We know that he doesn't want to be here, but we don't know what they're going to do. You've seen Sweeney and them sit on their ass a little bit. You've seen them make some trades. You don't know what's going to happen, Ben. I think the absolute first word and the only word that comes to mind is unknown with the Bruins. Gonna go up here. We got Dakota coming in, hashtag Rob's fraud. Forgot about that one. We had the Where's Rob earlier. But Zach coming in here. The Bruins are in a crumble mode, to be honest. They really got to surprise us this offseason with a move. If not, it's going to be a tough year for the Bees. And I think he made it 110% right, Zach. It's tough. We got to see what happens. I think, again, right now, as bad as it sounds, you're looking at maybe another first round, maybe a second round appearance, first round exit. That being, I know some people even said, will they make the playoffs? Like, that's a potential bet for bettors. There's just a lot of uncertainty right now, Ben. I think if you look at the goaltenders, I like what they've been able to do. But overall, we still got some more stuff to get to on the show. I don't know what to feel with Jim Montgomery, Ben. I don't. I know that he had a good little spurt there. He was able to kind of redeem himself as the assistant head coach with the Blues. Had a little stunt with the Stars. And now the Bruins are giving him a try in a situation where he's walking into a lot of fire because the front office is under the hot seat. You've got some players on the hot seat. You've got a lot of uncertainty within the locker room. That's just the word, uncertainty, Ben.
Well, that's what I was going to say. Read my mind right there, Josh. To be honest, I know it's kind of the half-ass answer, but I just really don't know. I don't know. We really don't have anything on him. Like you said, he checked himself in the rehab after that. He got fired from Dallas Stars for, drinking concerns and everything. Checked himself in the rehab, got himself straight on that straight and narrow. And like you said, I wanted to double check that with the timeline, but he was a part of that Blues little Stanley Cup run that we saw us lose to. So, he helped them out of that. He's proved himself, he's back, back to being himself. He kicked that habit. So, great to see him for that in that regard, but I wasn't trying to disrespect. I just didn't know just who is Jim Montgomery. They threw, if you get rid of Bruce Cassidy, that's staple for us for 6 years and didn't miss the playoffs. You gotta get somebody that the household will be a household name or somebody that's going to make a splash, and really didn't make a splash initially. So hopefully, you can make hopefully you can make a splash with the winning, Josh, and maybe sort of make us forget about this, but. Maybe we're just being a little too picky too. Maybe we just need something to complain about, as us Boston fans do. But still, just a little concerning for me with it. Just like you said, the word of the day with the Bruins, uncertainty. So a little concerned with that, but I'm willing to give them a chance.
Same here. I think a chance is fair. I think as we've talked about too a little bit here, you look at his track record. It's a pretty good one. Besides, the personal issues that he had, as you mentioned, Ben, he was kind of able to figure that out. So, again, massive uncertainty with the Bruins this year. I have my faith. I have my Boston faith. I don't think that they're going to miss the playoffs like everybody's talked about. I don't think it's time. We're still going to have a young defenseman coming back in Lindholm. You still got Pasternak. You still have, let's hope Marchand and Pasternak, I know that they're going to be pushed back because of injuries, and I think they might not be able to play until, we're looking December. But we'll be okay. We have a young goalie in net. We've got a decent backup goalie as well. I think the Bruins will be okay, Ben. I do. Rob, City Boy's up. I don't know what he's talking about. He's in here being a funny guy. That's a funny one. If he bleached his hair, he'd fit right into the music video of the real Slim Shady. I love the jokes. I actually think that's hilarious. That's funny.
That'd be a good haircut. That'd be a good little hair. To just bounce off the haircut right there, dye the hair, look like a little Slim Shady. All right, Rob. That comment's all right.
It was a good one.
We'll give it to Rob. We'll give it to.
I know he's cheesing right now just thinking about it. But Bruins, we'll get back to them, Ben. We'll see what happens with Bergeron. I don't think there's any official signing. I know he's mentioned that he would want to sign with us. So we'll get to the Bruins. A lot to get to there throughout the year. We've got plenty to talk about with baseball being the only sport in action. And guess what? That works out. We've got a massive, massive series coming up here in Boston. The Yankees and Red Sox Thursday. I cannot wait. They've got my boy on the mound Thursday night. It's impulse want to buy a ticket. I'm very close to doing it, Ben. Financially, probably would not be the right move, but I really, really, really want to see my boy Garrett Cole. I've been to his last 2 starts. Oh no, his 2 out of 3 starts in Boston. So got to keep that little trend going. But you look at last year, the Red Sox took 10 out of the 19 meetings versus the Yankees last year to start this season. And before we even mention this season, don't remind me, but I guess we'll have to mention it. Including the postseason game, the Red Sox won 6-2 at home. That crazy game Giancarlo Stanton had. Again, I digress. We move on. This year, the Yankees are 2-1 versus the Red Sox, Ben. It's early, though. That was only they took 2 out of 3 in the first series. They've only played 3 games this year. But this is the second series of the year, and I believe the Red Sox will go Rays, Yankees, some other series, and then they come back to the Yankees. They fly out to us in New York to play the Yankees. I know that sounds weird to say because I'm from Boston, but I'm a Yankees fan. So it's going to be interesting. We got Garrett Cole on the mound Thursday. You got your guy Bello. As James had mentioned earlier, the Red Sox are actually going to start. I know I was talking to him about it in the chat. The Red Sox are actually going to start. I think his name's Brian Bello.
Number 1 prospect.
Yep, the number 1 prospect on the mound tomorrow night for the Red Sox. So we'll see what we can get out of him. But what can we expect from the Red Sox and Yankees this series, Ben? What do you think?
Making some fireworks, Josh. Just to fill in that other team, it's kind of a weird schedule right now. Obviously playing the Rays right now, but then we wrap it up, Yankees, as you mentioned. Then we go back to the Rays. Have another series with them. Then, like you said, Yankees. Then we got to face the Blue Jays. So, I mean, next 5 series against AL East teams. This is huge right now for the Red Sox. This is a huge swing, and it didn't look too good in the beginning today. First inning going down 3-0 to the Rays, but right now it is tied up 3-3. We got a guy in second. Bogarts just walked, so 2 outs. Let's see if we can get Jared Duran in. It's been huge for us, but I want to give everybody a little update on that. Just watch out. This is a huge stretch for the Sox. Everybody be mindful of that, but I mentioned fireworks, Josh. I'm hoping, and it's actually not going to be too many. I'm hoping that we can get some pitching to calm down those Yankees bats, which I don't think we will. I think they're going to tear our bullpen up, especially I believe Houck is still injured. So he's back. All right.
Yeah, it was
Houck
the
is
vaccination thing.
That was the vax. That's what it was. I thought it was an injury that was on me. I believe it was somebody else who I'm thinking of, probably, or I just got it wrong. It's tough to tell with the Red Sox bullpen. I really could care less for everyone in there. I really don't have a closer. And then Houck was doing well, but Houck kind of got rocked a couple times. A little shaky there, but it's just transitioning there too to that position. So we'll give him a little slack on that one. But Red Sox, Yankees, this is going to be it. This is going to be, hey, I mean, are we going to be legit this year? Are we going to be able to actually play some of these better teams and not just beat up on some of the worst teams, which I'm still not knocking the Red Sox for doing, but because sometimes they don't beat those bad teams. Then you see some of these chaotic seasons come up, but they're doing the job this year so far, beating the teams that you got to beat and playing well against the good teams, the better competition over there. So I'm just expecting them to stay in it, stay these games competitive with the Yankees, even though the Yankees right now, I mean, I believe the Yankees are down 1-0, I believe, to the Pirates. But you never know with them. You can never trust the Yankees. And they'll win it with a walk-off grand slam in the bottom of the ninth, which is just another thing you got to watch out for and be looking for in this Yankees series. Just want to see, are we able to put them away and not give them all these other chances because like these other teams do, because it seems like the Yankees are just never done. They're never out of the game this season so far. Hopefully it's just for regular season. As a Red Sox fan, hopefully want those regular season. I want them to kill in the regular season, then have some playoff woes. That'd be nice for me as the Red Sox, but just looking to stay competitive in this series. Just don't get killed, please. Just don't do it to me already. This Cubs series was a little rough one to watch, and Blue Jays took 2 out of 3 against us. I was hoping to get at least one more out of there, but Cubs kind of brought us back down to earth. Playing well against the Rays, huge win yesterday in the shutout win. So one more against the Rays, but for the Yankees, Josh, just stay competitive, please.
I think you're being a little harsh. I think if you,
I am. Hey, I gotta be, Josh. I'll let on.
He's keeping it real. I know if I'm talking to Cody, I'm talking to Chris, I'm talking to Kyle, I'm talking to James, it's what have the Red Sox done to you guys in the last yada yada yada, and they have every right to chirp. They beat us in the postseason. Whatever. Let me just throw out a couple things here. Lots on the table, as you mentioned. The Yankees are playing the Pirates right now. Down 1. Just want to say one thing. John Heyman, I follow him. Phenomenal job. Great baseball reporter. Jose Quintana's on the mound right now. He's pitching a gem right now early against the Yankees. He's one of their top trade prospects. Now, this is where it gets interesting. Brian Reynolds has been linked to the Yankees. Nice outfielder. Would be a great acquisition for them. He hasn't had that great of a season, so maybe they can trade. The Yankees can trade a little bit low here. Jose Quintana, on the other hand, a veteran, having a great season. Both of these guys are in trades talks. Maybe you could see them go to the Yankees. Just want to throw that one out there. Also, Garrett Cole on the mound. I just want to come up. We're going to do a little stat hour here for you guys. Garrett Cole's last couple outings in Boston, yeah, they weren't great, but overall, he's got a 5-3 record versus the Red Sox with a 4 ERA and 73 strikeouts in his 11 appearances versus the Red Sox in his career. He's played for 3 different teams. That's the Pirates, actually. Nice little coincidence there. Houston and the Yankees. Guys, I just want to say one thing. He had 2 bad performances against you guys. Let's relax. Hopefully, I am a little nervous for Thursday, but I'm more concerned about taking that game to believe it or to be real. I would love to see him dominate the Red Sox. I think we see split. I'm gonna be a little realistic here. I think that the series goes to a split. The Red Sox are Yankee killers, and I know I'm gonna take so much slander for Zach and Rob and whatever, but it's the truth. Face the facts the way it is. If Garrett Cole can come on the mound and pitch a gem later this week, literally 2 days, that'd be great. I seen Rob floating around a couple ideas for what we're gonna do for the game. We'll get to that, but overall, Ben, I think you're being a little too harsh on the Red Sox. They've been able to really, really weather that storm. Although they lost the series to the Cubs, they almost lost yesterday. They got out with a win. They had Tanner Houck back, but rough series for them there. They had a little weird one there with the Toronto Blue Jays as well. Pretty good against the Rays in a short stint that they got right now. But they've been able to weather the storm. No Matt Barnes, no Chris Sale. They've had no James Paxton as well. A lot of people forget about him. They had, who else was it? I'm blanking. I think Bogarts is going through some stuff right now. Devers has been kind of... They're not fully healthy, so I will give them that. Were one of the best teams in June. They went 20-6 in June. The Yankees went 22-6. It's going to be a great series here. I think it's true fashion of Red Sox versus Yankees. The Red Sox have been kind of on the rise here. You look at the standings. Hey, I know the Yankees have kind of ran away with the division, but hey, guess who sits the closest? It's the Red Sox, 13 games back. Big series here. In 2 big series here. The Red Sox can kind of gain some traction here if they can maybe make some noise against the Yankees. I think that we're going to handle business at home, but I think on the road is where we're going to struggle a little bit. So I think we're going to be in for a treat this week. I really do. End the week. Great baseball. I mean, we started the show off with UFC. We've talked some fantasy. We've talked basketball. We even got into the Patriots. I'm not gonna forget that one. Next week we'll have a nice little segment about the Patriots. What's the Patriots? What's their I'm blanking. How many games do they win next year? What's the over/under for that? I believe Vegas had it at
7.
8.5 or 7. We can
Somebody
set
threw
ours
7,
for
yeah.
7. Yeah, we can set ours for 7. It was Jared. I think Vegas had it.
Oh,
at
yeah, my
8.5.
bad, my bad.
But no,
It's
yeah,
a little
you're
more
good.
reasonable. A little more reasonable than that, Josh. Sorry. 8.5. Yeah, I was about to say Vegas.
7.
They're killing the Pats in that one. Makes a little more sense. My
7.
bad, Patriots.
Yeah, well, hey, Ben coming out with a hammer. He's just not having it. We'll set it next week. Well, I'll make the post.
Yeah.
We'll have a big little discussion on it. We'll get back to some more. I keep wanting to say fantasy basketball, free agency within the NBA. Aaron coming in saying Shane says you can see Patrick Mahomes in the back. That is true. Shout out Patrick Mahomes. Shout out Shane for watching. And as we wrap up here, hey, hour and a half long special. As I mentioned, we got into some UFC talk. We got into the Red Sox. We got into the Yankees. We're getting into that big series. I think the Yankees and the Red Sox split. I think Garrett Cole gets the win finally in Boston. A lot of stuff going on within the NBA. We'll see if Kevin Durant is still a net come next week. We'll see if Kyrie Irving is still a net come next week. Again, just want to thank everybody for tuning in. I'm going to hand it off to Ben as I do every week. But again, thank you, everybody. And hey, before I do that, welcome in all of our new viewers. And I'm so excited to have us on Twitch, YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook. So I just want to thank you guys for tuning in.
I want to echo those sentiments as always. Thank you for everybody tuning in. Appreciate those comments, keeping us going. That's what we got. That's what fuels us over here, man. That's what gets the show going. So appreciate all that. Appreciate Josh. Thanks to him too for setting up all this, getting the multi-platform going. We got this set up now. Everybody's loving it. So thanks to Josh. Big shout out to him for getting this rolling, getting this going. I know everybody's pretty happy. I'm already getting positive reviews over it. Here, everybody's loving it. Twitch, YouTube. I'm already blanking on that other one. What was it? Twitch, YouTube, Twitter. My bad. I'm not on Twitter, so I don't have a Twitter, so I'm not on there. I can't watch it from there. And the classic Facebook. Everybody, the OG way of watching. So appreciate Josh for putting that together. Appreciate you all for watching. And DeAndre Ayton will not be a Phoenix Sun.